I am talking into the mic as if I'm interviewing, and I have a little bit of arrogance to my voice.
A beep.
Okay. Our guest today on Tape Swap Radio is This Way to the Egress from Bethlehem. The members of the band here, almost all the members of the band.
Almost, yes.
4 out of the 6. We have Taylor, Sarah, Jacqueline, and Nick. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for being the inaugural guest of our Rooftop session.
The guinea pigs.
So we're on top of the Cigar Factory Artist Studios, where the Alternative Gallery is located, here in lovely Allentown. And you just finished up your set, so thank you again for coming here.
Of course.
This Way to the Egress started around 2008.
Yes.
So you're coming up on 10 years now.
Yes.
So as you think back, how's the band progressing? Where do you think the band's at in its lifespan right now?
We've lived so many lives.
Well, we're living, so that's good.
Yeah,
It's
we're
onward
alive.
and upward motion. I have a pretty solid lineup.
Yeah, the most solid lineup for like the last 5 years.
But we just bought a school bus, so we're pretty committed for
You bought a school bus?
Yes.
We did.
Oh.
For at least another.
It's 29 feet. Does not require a CDL to drive, in case you were wondering.
But yeah, it's been a long, fun road.
But it's been awesome. I mean, ups and downs, meeting all kinds of people, all kinds of music. You know, it's actually what happens between the stage that all the crazy shit happens. Am I allowed to say shit?
We'll bleep it out.
Okay.
So the school bus, that's taking you on your upcoming tour. That's what you're going out on the road on?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We have several regionals in support of our upcoming album, and then after the album drops, we'll end up out on the road, hopefully for around a month, if not more, do the whole country, write an EP from the road, or some exciting things.
Yeah,
Great.
really
So-
cool stuff coming up.
What's the new album going to be called?
It's called Onward Up a Frightening Creek.
Okay.
It has 12 and a half tracks. It comes out September 22nd, and it was recorded at our favorite place in the world,
Vibramonk.
Well, next to the Alternative Gallery. Vibramonk
for
Studios
recording.
in Brooklyn, New York. So we were pretty excited. The place is gorgeous, and the producer's really awesome. And it was our first time that we were able to record an album live, like all of us playing at once. So that was pretty awesome.
Very cool. Now, do you have to be selective when you find a producer? Because you are sort of a unique band. You're not like every other 3 or 4 piece rock and roll band.
Yeah.
You have to be a little selective about that?
I mean, for me, as a rule, I always try to seek out producers that like have done brass, accordion, kind of something that fits our genre a little bit.
I mean, I think that essentially it was like it ended. That's how we found Dan at
Yeah.
Vibramonk. Was he did several albums of bands in our genre like World Inferno and Gogo Bordello and Mischief Brew and Balkan Beatbox. So I was one day just kind of like, where are the bands that we are listening to recording their stuff? But I think that the most important part was just finding somebody that understood that. That kept us honest in what we did, and I think that Dan was really good at that because everything was done live, so there was no, with the exception of like overdubs for vocals and auxiliary instruments, there was no, he just really had a good understanding of how to keep us doing what we actually do and recording it. So it was kind of kismet the way we found him, and it was a really great time. Good experience.
So take me back 10 years, almost 10 years, when you started the band. How did it all come together? What was the impetus?
I started writing a bunch of songs, and I knew I wanted to write for like more of a, at the time I was like cabaret circusy. I knew I wanted an accordion, and so I wrote a bunch of songs, and then I started a search for musicians.
And we found each other. We were a 3-piece, and at that point it was a lot more like circus. Like we had sideshow and burlesque, and we did a lot of like cabaret style music. But then as Jacqueline and Joe and our tuba player and like 4 drummers ago, we are final tap, it seems. As they joined the band, we kind of, the sound created itself, so we kind of dropped the circus, like literally stopped working with the burlesque and the sideshow, and kind of just reinvented as like a party band and a dance band, and giving people an avenue to kind of come out and leave, forget their problems and have a good time with us. And
I'm curious about Nick and Jacqueline. What's your impressions coming into this band? What's it like to be walking into this crazy world?
I thought it was awesome. I couldn't wait to get out of where I was and start playing with these guys. It was just like, I've never been in a band before where like the whole room is up and like conga lines are going, and it's just like an insane party. Like, you know, I came kind of from like a metal land. It was like Bethlehem when I first started. It was like there was a lot of metal bands, so it's like that's what I did before I came into here. And hearing them, it was really interesting. And I actually played mandolin when I first started with them, and I really didn't know how to play it. I just kind of like crossed my fingers and went for it, and it
From metal
switched.
to mandolin.
Yeah, well, you know, you got that. It's like you got this
Wow.
mix, the surf and the try to just play as fast as I could and keep up, and then I switched to guitar, and now we can incorporate like a surfy sound. And I also have a tenor banjo that I play. It's on the album. Didn't bring it out today. We decided not to go with that because of the weather and everything. But I don't know. It was just like a wild thing to do, and I thought it was awesome, and here I am.
What were you going to say?
Awesome is a good word for it.
What was your impression when you came into this band?
Uncertainty. Nah. Trying something that I couldn't possibly figure out what it would be like if I sat down and tried to predict the next year of my life.
That is...
And the music was the confirmation of that when I listened to it. And it wasn't the arrangement of instruments, it was more the breaks and the tempo changes. And as a drummer, just hearing that, it's who wouldn't want to try to play that just to even further their own skill?
Interesting. So sounds like a challenging band no matter what instrument you're on. So tell me a little bit about your connections here to your roots in the Valley. What's your impression of what's going on in the music scene, first of all, here in the Lehigh Valley?
Is that nudge
Yeah,
for
it's
me
for
to
you.
answer that? Well, I mean, I personally, I'm a transplant, so I came to the Valley when I joined this band, essentially. So, and the band didn't really start playing locally until about 2013. So it's really only been like a few years, but I feel like we're kind of right at the hub of it right now. Like the Alternative Gallery, Tape Swap, what you guys are doing, giving the touring bands an avenue to come through and experience that there is actually like a thriving music scene here and a bunch of phenomenal artists and musicians that aren't out there, you know, playing covers and doing the casino circuits. And not that there's anything wrong with playing covers. It's just, you know, for a really long time it was like hard to have somewhere to be and to feel that like community. So I feel like it's growing, and I'm really excited to see where things like this take it.
I mean, we did everything backwards. Like she just said, we started touring. We, you know, usually bands like start a local following and then they spread out. We spread out first and then like went on crazy tours and all over the place, all 4 points of the United States, and then we kind of came back.
We're like,
like,
we
wait,
wanna come home.
we don't have a following at home. We don't play anywhere locally. So,
But I think that there's definitely a pocket for it. I mean, we're like an hour and a half in between New York City and Philadelphia, and we're right over the border from New Jersey. Like, there's a tremendous amount of talent and musicians that come through the Lehigh Valley. And I think it's really great that there's a community building that allows the local artists and musicians to thrive, and the people that come through something to look forward to.
Yeah, speaking of community, I want to shout out Connections Gallery in downtown Easton. I've been to countless open mics there, and if it wasn't for playing in public in very informal situations like that, you know, getting onto stage could be completely alien.
It's always nice to find those little pockets in your hometown there that have these outlets for these artists. It's great that you're finding that. Really interesting to hear you did it backwards almost. You started with the touring, and then really you're discovering sort of a place to grow some roots here. And we hope you do. But you've been out there on the road. You've played many places. You're planning a UK leg of your upcoming tour. What's your experience been like going out there and playing? Any stories or anything that sticks out in your mind that you want to recount?
I mean, I don't. We would need a whole for our tour stories.
we actually have a reward on our Kickstarter campaigns that is just tour stories.
I mean, there's
And
been
we
apartment
give
fires.
them a book. Yeah, there's fires.
It's
Wow.
there's been a tremendous amount of like super high highs, super low lows. But I mean, we have a beautiful I mean, the geography in this country, the landscapes are gorgeous. There's amazing, art and music everywhere, nestled into places like this. And it's been really, mostly, that's really what's great, is watching the world go by our window and getting to connect with folks like this all over.
Yeah, also just throwing ourselves into the music scenes around the United States when, we're always a little bit different, and it's always fun to kind of just put ourselves.
I mean, we played a hip hop festival in Brooklyn.
Really?
That
was
awesome.
fun.
Wow.
That
That was actually really cool.
It was. It was like, here we go.
Wow. Really interesting to hear how you can plug your band into all sorts of different genres, different festivals.
Yeah.
And people still seem to be responding to it positively.
Yeah, I think that the key is really we just have fun. And, times are always tumultuous. Like, there's always crazy, stuff going on. And I think that, there's art and music that's left to inspire and to create change and motivation and momentum. And then there's art and music that is a release from that and a relief from that, because everybody needs to raise their spirits and raise glasses and kind of come together. And I think that no matter what you like, there's a place for that. And that's what we try to tap into.
Totally.
Yeah, when people know what kind of music they're about to hear, they know they have a set way that they should dance to it. So when you come to a place and nobody knows what to expect, and then you see people empty onto the dance floor because they hear something new and they just wiggle it out. The last show we played recently at Wicked Weed in where was that?
North Carolina, Asheville.
Yeah, so I saw some of the best dancing there.
Yeah,
There was some Russian kind of.
Better than the
Oh,
woman
wow.
that was exercising the devil from her in Connecticut. We had this
Oh,
woman
the
who was
guy-
like pole dancing on her microphone and like rolling around on
She
the
was
floor
on
and
all
licking her
fours.
lips. It
Oh,
was
Motioning to it was
we didn't even know what to
probably
do.
one of the only times I broke character because I was like I couldn't handle what I was seeing.
She had a babysitter that night. There
We
was
had a
somebody at
guy-
home with those kids.
guy dancing on the roof at the fun house.
Yeah.
Somebody was holding him upside down, and he was just like dancing with his
the
feet on the
funhouse?
ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the inside roof, not the
Yeah,
outside.
yeah,
It
on the
was-
ceiling.
yeah.
Oh.
He was literally dancing
like
And then
on
he
the
took-
ceiling.
rafters.
And then he took off his pants.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
People
only
take
place
off their
I've
clothes at
ever
our
seen-
shows. I've seen that a couple times.
They throw their
There's a lot of
boxer
spanking
shorts
that
up on
happens at
stage.
our shows.
Yep, I've seen a lot of spankings.
and a high heel in the butthole. But that'll be a story for another time.
That is
we talk
X-rated.
about
I can't even talk about
I
it.
don't know if we're going to put that on the radio.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't feel free not to.
This
Sorry.
is the
That's-
bonus
We'll
content.
tell you off the air.
All right. And Taylor, Sarah, Jacqueline, and Nick, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Thank you guys. That was awesome.